Okay, back to our video here on modeling this shield. So we've included so far everything that we've pretty much learned in previous videos, and now we're going to start to expand our little toolbox here. Now the first thing I want to do is I'm going to combine these objects eventually, but the first thing I want to do is I want to insert geometry, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I've already shown you, but I want to show you how to do it again, and then we'll get into mirroring this. So once we get these objects all combined into one, we'll begin the process of flipping it over. So there's a couple different ways I can do this. I'm going to go ahead and highlight all of these faces. I'm just clicking one, holding shift, double clicking the next one, and you'll see that highlights the entire edge loop. Holding shift and right click, we're going to add divisions to faces. I'm going to hit the little settings box off to the side. Holding shift, right click, scrub down to add divisions to faces, and hit the settings box. Now, this is typically guess and check. I'll hit apply, and that did it to the wrong faces. I'm going to undo that. All I did was sort of click in the screen to undo, and then I'm going to go back here, because you can't undo anything in this window. That's the trick. You have to do it in this window here. So I'm going to go ahead, undid it, and then I'm going to hit apply, and you'll see I get that perfectly centered subdivision line. Now, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to have to cut in some geometry here. I'm going to turn shading, and I'm going to turn wireframe on shaded on, because I have a lot of geometry in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this edge. At this point, it really doesn't matter if I have it symmetrical or not, because we're going to symmetry it anyway, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway, just to as a reminder or refresher on how to do that. You'll see I need some geometry in here. Probably there's a couple of different ways I could do this, and one of the first things I'm going to do is sort of take a look at how I'm going to begin this process. Now, I know I'm going to need one set of geometry here, so it's safe to say I can go ahead and add divisions to faces, and that didn't work at all. Add divisions to faces and do apply, and that didn't work at all either. So if you're getting some things like that that don't work, here's another way to do it. I'm sure I've showed you this, yeah. The multi-cut tool, I'm just going to hold control, and I know I need it about here, and then I know I'm going to need another one here. Wait. There it goes. And let's go ahead and just drag it down. And the other thing is, I know I'm going to need at least this one. Hard to say. This one's in a tough spot. So what I'll do is I'm going to cut in one more set. That goes here. And that should be okay. Now it looks like I'm going to want to have some extra geometry in this region also. So what I first did is, the first thing I did is I made sure that I'll have basically cutting into here geometry that's going to match this current geometry. I know this is probably a little complicated, but as long as you're following along, you should be alright. So I'm going to go ahead and drag this one down, and then bring these down, and you'll see where it's starting to line up, where I'm going to try to get these all to match up. And on this particular one, bring this up, and then maybe I can bring these up. And it looks like what I'll do, actually, on this one, I'm going to bring these here. This is going to come up here, and then I'll match these here. So I'm going to match these ones on this angle. Now, with that being said, I'm going to need some more geometry. And I'm going to cut one in the center here. Oh, I don't know if that worked. Cut one in the center here. And one here. Now what I've done is I've created enough geometry here for me to begin doing a little process like this. So I'm going to extrude, I'm going to highlight these four faces, just these four. I'm going to extrude inward. And we'll just do scale XYZ. Ooh, that didn't work at all. Something like so. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to start to snap these verts, holding V. Just making sure that's... Come on. Holding V, I should be able to snap these verts. Okay, that worked. Okay, this one I'm actually going to bring down here. And this one, it may look confusing at first, but you'll see exactly what I'm doing here in just a moment. This one will go here. This one will go here. And this one will go here. Did I get that right? And these I'm actually just going to drag up really quickly because it's sort of just to make it look a little bit cleaner. Oh, no, this one is going to go into the center. That's where. Press 4. I'm just taking a look in wireframe mode. Go back to 5. This is a tough one, but this is absolutely crucial to know how to do. And I missed a vert, and that's why I got confused. And you will get confused also, because there's a lot of geometry happening here. Now, just for this one, you'll see I still have my correct edge loop. And what I'm going to do with this particular one, behind here, you'll notice I have my 4 little cubes. I'm going to delete that. And in this particular mesh, I'm going to take this and highlight and shift click my bolt and combine. And we're going to do this for every bolt. Now the other thing, in case you've forgotten, I'm going to turn symmetry off right now, and I'm going to merge vertices, merge vertices. I'm going to do that for each one. And the way I check this is I press 3, and as long as it's all smoothed out, I'll know that I have a closed mesh there. Press 1, and that's that particular one. The geometry does look a little weird. Don't worry, we're going to fix it. It's going to be fine. So we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to highlight these, and I'm going to extrude inward. And this doesn't need to be perfect because we're going to snap these verts anyway. So here, I'm going to go into my vertex mode, and it doesn't matter if I have symmetry on or not. I'm holding V, I'm selecting directly from the center vert, and I'm just snapping these in. Now this is probably one of the most tedious parts of 3D modeling, yet one of the most important, especially when you're working with multiple objects. And okay, now I'm going to go ahead and delete these faces. I'm going to combine my object, combine this one, and then I'm going to go to vertice or vertex, and on the inside of the mesh I just feel it's a little bit safer to select, because if I do it from this side, there's a chance I might grab vertices on the other side that I don't mean to. and I'm using G as my last tool used to merge these verts. Okay, press 3, and now I see that this is entirely a closed object. Now the next thing, it doesn't matter that I don't have it here because I'm going to mirror this object. Now, same thing with this one. I like to think that if you see me do it first one way, when you go to do something like this, it'll be easier and you'll have a better understanding of how you might want to model a complicated object. Especially if you need it to be an entire one mesh that's a closed object. A lot of times to save polygons, you'll have this technique enforced to make sure that you're not using extra polys that you don't need, like these faces here. We don't need them. Delete. Now I'm going to combine. I'm going to go to Vertex, and we're going to merge these. So this video is just simply going to be on combining objects and merging vertices. Okay, now the next part, we're going to do this one. And you'll see what I did there was when I created the geometry that I needed in the beginning, I basically preset it so that it would be easier later. I believe I still need to do it for, I might be able to do it, I might be able to get away with it for these two, so that's pretty cool. Again, extrude inward, one of the most useful tools in the book, the extrude. Now, I mean, you could actually technically delete those faces right away. You don't need them anymore. And we're going to go ahead and start doing it this way. Okay, combine the objects. I like to grab the vertices from the inside of the mesh. This way, as I mentioned earlier, merge vertices, merge vertices. I don't select anything on the other side of the mesh that I don't mean to. That's a really, really common mistake that happens. Okay, got that one set. I'm going to do the same thing here. I actually can just go ahead and use this geometry that I already have preset. I didn't need to add anything extra in here. Again, like right here, I could just delete these and I can just start snapping these verts right away. I think it's a little bit easier to sort of visualize when it is at a closer sort of proximity to those regions. Is that right? Oh, I missed one. This one goes here. Okay. Now here, we'll go to object mode, combine both of these objects. In Vertex, I'm going to merge these. Just a repetitive process here. Press 3 to double check, and you'll see right here, you see this pinching going on. That is a super common problem. So I missed one vertice, and I know which one it is because what happens is they'll pinch towards the vertice that is not merged. So you'll see this one's pointing towards this one, and this one's pointing towards this one. Once I merge it, you'll see it just becomes one smooth, cylindrical sort of shape there. Go back into my one mode. Okay, and right here also, in this case I'm going to do both sides. It's just a visual thing for me. I only need to do one, but it's just easier for me to do it this way. And I'll just delete those faces. Ooh, I thought I did something. So you'll notice what I did here. I highlighted too much. So I'm going to undo everything. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm accidentally, just as I was mentioning, grabbing vertices from the back, or the front of the mesh, I accidentally grabbed some from the back and it sort of messed up my mesh. So now I'm going to do it, undo it, and then just go ahead and just restart. And go like so, and like so. Delete the faces, go to vertex mode, and start snapping these in. And I'm only doing, ooh. Why are you doing that? Come on. Well, that doesn't want to cooperate at the second. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. Perfect. Alright. Now I've got that shape in, and I'm going to combine and go back in here and start to merge all these verts. Make sure you click and drag both of them, so you select both of them, not just one of them. You got to make sure you grab both of the vertices. Okay, so now I have my mesh so far where I want it to be. The last thing I'm going to do is, actually, I'll save it for the next video. So this is where our mesh is at the moment. What I'm going to do in my next video is I'm going to show you how to duplicate the object, duplicate special, and we're going to mirror the object over, and I'll get to showing you how to do that here in our next video. So we've got the base mesh more or less complete, and I'll show you some extra tools here shortly. Thanks for watching.